once again, I am just so happy and pleased to be in the company of my dear friend and colleague, Gabby Chanel. She's going to bring some information to us today, some much needed information around how we can continue to support our Black trans women here in the Charlotte area and beyond. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce to some and present to others, Gabby Chanel.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Coco, Gabrielle Chanel. My pronouns are she or her. I'm a resident here in Charlotte, North Carolina, but born in New York City, in the Bronx. High school graduate of East Mecklenburg, class of 91, East Mecklenburg High School. The oldest of 7 kids. The mother and daughter of the late Margaret Bell Cloud Moore and the late Alfred Victor Raleigh III, where I bear his name and my grandfather's name. I'm just wonderful. I've been living my life and my truth since the age of 21.
Excellent. That is wonderful. So, of course, there has been quite a journey from 21 to now. You're just like maybe 31 now. I'm just kidding. But I'm sure you have lots of wisdom to impart around your transition, around how community can continue to support. And I know that we have shared earlier, when we had our discussion around this interview, that you would feel free to, if you choose to, share around your engagement and interaction with the healthcare community. It's very important that we continue to advocate for one another with the healthcare community, because generally, Black women in general and Black trans women in particular don't always have their needs addressed in ways that are effective. So I know you've had some experience that you would like to share. So tell us about it.
Well, for me, it was good. I've always been good. I'm glad I have doctors and teams of people who come in my circle the way they did. Just like when I had one illness I dealt with was cancer. I had stage 2 rectal cancer, and to find out it was like a big shark, and I thought the end of the world was about to happen, because when you hear the word cancer, all you think of is the end of the world. But somehow or another, God showed up and showed out the way he or she fits, and decided to say, okay, we got you, and they got you. And then from day one, having 4 doctors in the cancer team who respect me and my journey and who I am as a trans woman is wonderful. Back in those days, before my time, trans women of color didn't have those options. They didn't have the doctors who would treat them with respect or give them the respect they deserve. And now we came a long way from being who we are. And I thank God I have a team of doctors from the Cancer Society who come together to give me the resources I needed, especially when I told you before, when I got my bill for radiation and chemo and it said 0, I'm like sitting here like, this gotta be a joke. But they said, we got you. And have them to call me by they even asked me, what can I call you? What's your proper name for me to call you? And they step on right there on board to do that. And I think trans women of color, we need to go to places that we feel comfortable and we feel respected. Don't go spend your money on places that they're taking your money, but they can't respect you at the same time. There's a lot of resources out there. All you gotta do is find the right doctor, the right staff, and the right area that you feel comfortable at and who respect you, and you'll get everything you want.
Right. Well, I say kudos to those doctors and people on your healthcare team that ask, what are your pronouns? That ask, how should we address you? That's a sign of sensitivity and respect that you're right, that has not always been the case. A lot of that comes from people who will advocate for themselves and people also in our community of allies that advocate for us as well. So I'm really encouraged to hear that you're receiving that level of treatment when you go for your healthcare needs. That's awesome. So I also want to ask you around the support that you've received from your family. I know you have an incredible family, the support that you've received from your community. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, in my family, when my mom was alive, she was upset about it. She was, I give you, what parent is not upset, especially their oldest child, who they grew up to be. She can accept me being a gay male and stuff like that, but me living my truth and living who I am as a woman, that was hard until she met two wonderful friends, Vincent and Gerald, God rest their soul, knowing they doing my mama here now, who she met, and she loved Vincent, because every time I get ready to get my hair done, she said, Vincent said, no, Coco, or Gabby, you gotta go right quick. I gotta do your mama's hair first, because your room make her look good. And my mama makes sure she get her hair perm right and everything, and make sure that Vincent do her hair right before she go out. And my mom accepted. I think if my father was still alive, my father would have loved it, because my grandmother had a trans female friend in New York, and they were good friends, and she was good friends with the family and stuff, and my father knew her very well. And I think I was lucky, for me, I had a good upbringing, but I did have a stepfather who was not that welcoming at first, and our journey was like very abusive. I had to deal with harsh and physical, spiritual abuse from this man. And then all of a sudden, it took him to go to prison and jail to find out who he is. And then when he finally came out of jail, and when we finally got a chance to talk to him, I told him, I said, I hated you. I wanted you to die. I wanted you, everything. And I said, if you can forgive me for wishing that on you, I can forgive you for all the blows and stuff that you did to me. And we forgave each other. Wow. And now me and my stepfather, we get along. He don't like the choices I choose in who I date, but, and he had told me what reason why he treated me like that for a long time, because I said, I didn't want you to be like my cousin Larry. I didn't want you getting wrapped up in the drug scene and living a wild life. I don't want you, that's one reason why I treated you that way. I said, well, you could have fooled me, because Larry was the type person, imagine this, a 6'8", tall guy, big, football built. Who gonna mess with a person like that? Come on. I mean, that was the first time I ever seen a person in my life who lived that truth and lived their life. And that's why I made in my life that I live my life. I thank God I have nieces and nephews who follow my steps up. They not trans. I didn't one of them is gonna become, thinking about it, Yana. But the rest of them, who would have thought that my brother was like, sit here, we sitting there, he said, I love you. I don't care what you are. As long as you be who you are. And my sister and brother, they love me. All my nieces and nephews, especially my great nephews, they love me to death, because they can get candy. But it's just having a family that loves you and supports you is out there. And having friends too, that's also important. I did lose a lot of friends, but somehow or another, I got some new friends in return. When you lose one, God give you two. If you lose two, God give you four. You just double up.
Amen to that. Yep. So tell me a little bit about how, in this state of emergency, and thank you for serving on our advisory team, as the state of emergency has progressed here in the Charlotte area over the last couple of years. How have you responded to the attacks on Black trans women, and how do you maintain your safety and your sanity in light of all that's going on?
First, it upsets me. It really do. Until I see if I don't see it on the news, I read it in the newspaper about my sisters are getting killed racket, and nobody gives a flying fig about it. And I mean, we have fought for everything. We was there for the civil rights movement. We were there for the Black Lives Matter movement and all this kind of stuff. But when it comes to our life getting jeopardized, nobody sit down and saying, we support you. We see your pain. We see your hurt. It boils me up. But on the other hand, I gotta get myself focused to take a negative and make it positive. And for me to keep myself centered and to, yes, my spirituality and my religion helps me a lot. There are two different things. My religion, yes, I call myself a new Jew. Y'all call Christianity. That's what I live by. I grew up on it. I knew about it, but I see it with new light and see it with new eyes. My spirituality is Buddhism. I learned how to channel my Nomyo Renge Kira. Yes, it is a chant called Nomyo Renge Kira, and it's a peaceful chant. It helps you see much clearer and just get away from the negativity and the harsh reality that, yes, every day I walk out this door, I don't know if I'm going to get hit by a bus or get shot by a bullet, but I know God is protecting me for some reason from getting any harm or danger come my way, because as long as I get myself centered and get myself together and not worry about what other people say about me or things like that, like Medea said, it's not what people call you, it's what you answer to. And I'm not going to worry about these negative. And when I prepare myself, when I meet people, like going on a dinner date or somebody, a guy who dates me, they know right up front, when they meet me on the phone or online or anything like that, one, this is who I am. If you have a problem with it, please let me know, and then I'll let you go. Because I'm not going to sit here and be your side piece or just for your convenience. I'm a human being of all important thing. But the one thing about it, I am honest. Yes, some of the girls, they always accuse that, oh, if the girl will at least be truthful. I say, regardless if she was honest or dishonest, nobody deserved to get murdered or killed or hurt or violated like that whatsoever.
Absolutely. I heard you say something about love, and I heard you say something about honesty, and I also heard you say that no one deserves to be violently attacked for any reason.
True.
For any reason. So I thank you for that. So I'd like to ask you, as we are moving forward with community support, how can the faith-based community, particularly the church, continue to support Black trans women?
Is be educated. Be educated. Be more educated to understand. If you saw about you open for everyone, that means everyone, not just a selected few. This is a group. Find out if you have to do training. Do the trans one-on-one seminar with your clergy first. Start with your clergy groups, then your staff, then with the whole church family. That helps a lot, because they're showing that you showing some initiative. Because when you do have somebody who, like myself, do come about to your place of worship, I was very fortunate that my church was a pioneer for it.
Yes.
I was glad that we did a worship of trans one-on-one, and we started doing it. But still, work need to be done for other churches out there. Not just the LGBT ones, the affirming churches, but also the non-affirmers who do accept us, but to do the same kind of education.
Education is always a key. When we know better, we do better, so
Right.
they say, right?
Knowledge is power.
Right. And what about the broader community beyond the church, our nonprofit organizations, schools, law enforcement? How can we be more supportive allies?
So, same thing. Education is another one. And also, be aware of who you're dealing with. If you're not sure how to address somebody, ask. There's nothing wrong with asking. If you don't ask, how you gonna know?
Absolutely.
I mean, because that's what you got to do. Because if you don't go out there and ask people, like ladies like myself, and say, oh, the first thing police officers will do, they'll call you by your government name, not what you want to be called. And then they wonder why we get upset and why we get angry so much. It's because you disrespected us. If you want me to respect you as an officer of that badge, give me the same respect I give you.
Respect is key.
Right.
Yeah. Recognize and respect each other as human beings. I get that. And as we continue to carry this message through our program, prayerfully we'll be able to share that information and knowledge with the broader community. Our goal is to eliminate the violence against Black trans women and open the doors of opportunity. A lot of those doors remain closed, like in employment and housing. Can you talk a little bit about some of the challenges you faced as you made your transition?
For me, when it came to housing, it was very hard. But I'm glad the guy had told me right up front. He or she told me that don't get comfortable. Don't get comfortable, because you didn't ask for that. And places I have been in, I lived my truth. They saw, I told them right up front, this is who I am and this is what I'm about. You don't have to worry about me doing anything that's illegal, that's not of your property. I'm going to present myself very professional, and you won't hear a peep out of me because I don't play my music loud. I'm not hardly at home that much, and that is who I am. You don't have to worry about it because you know you're going to get your bills. My bills going to be on time. I've never been late, and I'm glad I'm in a new neighborhood that I used to live at long time ago with the projects, and who would have thought those places that was drug affected and all that kind of stuff like that, now all of a sudden they tore it down. They made into luxury condos, townhouses, and senior livings, a daycare, a school right there. Only God could do something like that. And then I'm glad I have a diverse neighborhood, a group of people of all race, sexual orientation, everybody all together. And that's the one thing we're all about. That's one thing we need to do as a community. We need to work together, not work apart. What's that's going to do? If you work apart, you're not going to learn nothing from nobody.
And that's a great place to land, is
Right.
for us to come together as community, united rather than divided. I thank you so much for your work on our advisory team.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure working with you over the years, both in church and now in the nonprofit organization on this state of emergency program. I thank you so much.
Thank you.
And if there are any closing remarks you'd like to add now?
Well, for me, I want to leave y'all with this note. Everybody know my favorite old saying. I live by this. If you ever go on my Facebook page, you'll like what I say. And this is a message to all my trans sisters and brothers and my LGBT group and non-LGBT groups. If you get to the point you're losing yourself, just remember this very well. When you lose yourself, find yourself. When you find yourself, never ever lose yourself again. Just remember that. That's all I can tell you.
And how can we find you on your social media page?
You can find me on Facebook under T.S. Gabrielle Chanel. And I have a Facebook page I do called Food for Thought for the Body, Mind, and Soul. I do this every Tuesday at 5:30 to 6:30. It's an inspiring thing that I talk about everything for spirituality, non-spirituality. It could be about dating. We talk about funny stuff. It's all a good life. And I also promote businesses and stuff like today I'm wearing one of my sister's wigs that she made for me. And I talked about all kinds of people who come to my life. They come to me and say, "Oh, you need to bring my skincare product and do wear that to let everybody know it's a real good product." I bring a lot of stuff, a form of stuff, and we talk about everything. Last time we talked about, I think it was about finding yourself, and that's so true. You got to find yourself because sometimes we lose ourselves in people, places, and things so much that we forget who we are. But sometimes that's when we gotta get back, find that person that you used to be, that happy person, that person who had that smile every time they walk in the room, and then find that person, and then embrace that person, and love that person, and don't ever forget, don't ever lose that person ever again. That's what that saying comes from. It's a saying I live by because I made it.
Beautiful. Thank you again for being with us, and thank
Anytime.
you for your work in community. You do a lot of work in community, and just thank you for your support of the State of Emergency